Hello music listeners, underground enthusiasts, and people who don't get sleep at night. I feel like whenever I record these videos, because I record these videos in the morning a lot. I will record them at like 8, 9, 10 a.m. And have them done by like noon or whatever. But whenever I do that, I feel like I sit down in front of the camera and it's very clear that I either just woke up or just didn't get any sleep last night. You can see these kind of bags under my eyelids. You know how in school you would say, oh, like I slept well last night, whatever. And then that one person every day, no matter what, will be like, well, I have insomnia. I can't sleep. I never get to sleep. I never get any sleep. You guys, such a great life for you guys to get. See, that was me. And I'm willing to admit that. I'm willing to admit to my faults. I don't feel ashamed for my past behaviors, but I was I never get any sleep kind of guy in high school. What the fuck are we talking about? Not a particularly busy week in terms of songs that came out that I personally got a lot out of, but there's still a couple that I want to talk about, so that's what we're here to do. And the first on that list is going to be Guardin with Ember featuring Eric Godlow. A while back on Swain's 1.6 album, Eric Godlow did a feature on the song RTV, and I thought that was pretty cool. I was stoked to hear a producer that I had followed pretty closely for a few years do some vocal work, especially considering it's a pretty great verse. Fast forward a couple years, and he's only gotten better in terms of his vocal work and writing, and he's a pretty good pair with Guardin as well, whose cracked vocals start this track painting this dejected and almost decrepit way of living. His vocals are incessantly crisp, which makes for a good contrast with Sorrowbringer's pretty watery and damp piano melodies. The narrative of emotions while on the road touring and the flip side of living feeling isolated is pretty well written and delivered with a good performance. Eric's verse has a bit of a softer swing to it, expanding upon the disconnection and isolation that Guardin introduces here. I'm happy to hear it. Like I said, they make a pretty good combo. It's a mellow and vibey track where they both get to shine a bit. Up next, we got Gabby Start with Boys. This track's energy is pretty unmatched, hitting these insane energetic peaks with this snarky vocal delivery, piercing and glossy falsettos, and relentlessly harsh production. I mean, Gabby's vocals on this are super clean, right? They're well mixed and airy. They sound nice. And then these beeping lead melodies and absolutely crush bass grooves fight back on that clean delivery as much as possible. This is very maximalist pop music here. The breakdowns on this track are indulgently fun, especially when it comes to these blown out dance grooves. And as brash and over the top as the song can seem at some points, I think it wraps up nicely to be this punchy and catchy pop track with a lot of really inventive production pushing it forward, especially when getting into the back half of the track. Really well made. I'm particularly a fan of this brief sort of spacey 80s intro to the track. I think it sounds nice. Up next, we got a new Stone Deluxe track with No Need to Grieve. His sort of intoxicated flows paired with the warbled vocal mix is ear candy to listen to for the entire song. The plucky trap guitar and the foggy synths are just kind of icing on the cake. Something that I've enjoyed a lot about his music over the past few years is how he takes a style and essentially sees how far he can push it. The staggered delay that continually layers over itself on and on as the song progresses feels surreal and dreamy, with Stone rattling off bar after bar that all find themselves kind of becoming part of that ambience. The structure and format of his writing and his word choice necessitates some pretty interesting bars, and I feel like the way he's gotten the lines written out kind of feels distorted, and it makes for some overall cool lyrics. Overall groovy and experimental trap with a really great hook that just keeps on giving. They have a new Evan Carr track with Drag Me Home, and it's been a while since the last track from Evan, so it's nice to hear him come back with such a strong banger. Drag Me Home is a bright and punchy alt-rock track that is pretty much clean beyond belief. The thick vocal mix on the chorus sounds pretty amazing over these sort of marching... Can I help you? The thick vocal mix on the chorus sounds pretty amazing over these marching drums and super thrashy guitar, and there's a lot of changes in pace on this track, with the energy gradually getting more intense and more frantic, and Evan shift gears accordingly. It's a pretty nostalgic sound, honestly, in terms of production and writing. It's kind of got this wistful summer energy playing into the best aesthetics of alternative rock and pop punk. Honestly, it is a bit surprising that this didn't come out in like 2009. Amazing track, great to hear from Evan again. And then wrapping up this week, we have a new Oni Boy track with A Creature Returns to Solitary Confinement. It's another gentle ballad from Oni Boy. I enjoy, honestly, how his vocals noticeably take up the most room on the track, with the guitar plucking kind of being supplementary and reserved for more of an ambience swaying in the back of the track. Normally, I wouldn't want it to be as covered as it is, but the sort of slow, sober delivery of Oni's vocals being so up close makes the track feel very intimate and personal. This is reinforced when you realize that Oni has, not drowned his vocals in reverb, something that I hear a lot on these acoustic ballads from other people. Because hey, a dry vocal is simply better in some contexts. This just happens to be one of them. It's isolating and fearful, never breaching out from that initial somber energy. That he brings in, and it's great for it. That little thing he just did there where he jumped off the chair and then looped back around to jump on top of my tower, he's probably done that maybe 10 times since I started recording, and I've just cut it out every time, and he has probably made the process twice as long. Look at him. He thinks he owns this place. Anyways, that's going to do it for the roundup this week. I know, not a lot of songs to talk about, but I do think these 5 are worth listening to. Very nice, and let me know how you feel about them. If you've listened to them, what do you think? If you haven't listened to them, go listen and then come back here and then also tell me what you think. It's the same thing every week. Catch me in the next video where I fully wake up before I hit the record button. Bye.